Okay, so just tell us who are you here at IP and what you do and just your experience here so far.
Thank you. My name is Owen Otom. I believe I mentioned that. So I handle projects. I'm the assistant project manager, reporting to the CTO directly. So we deal with internal projects and external projects as well that impact the customers directly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fantastic. So being in the fintech world, what's your take?
Well, my take is that ever since I started or got employed under fintechs, I think there has been a tremendous change or shift in how payments are made, largely attributed to internet penetration and an appetite for inclusion, especially on the finance side through payments. And I believe also another factor contributing towards the growth is the uptick and tech-savvy population, especially the young. Yeah.
So with that in mind, how do you put business as the first, considering the payment system is going fast, the internet inclusion, inclusion of different modes of payment, how do you put that customer or rather that business in mind so that they're at the center of it all?
At the end of the day, I think the bottom line of any business is to make profit. And you have to focus on that without disrupting or messing up the customer experience, because you cannot attain your bottom line without them. So the main focus is to make sure that we understand what the customer needs. And as you know, the trends are moving very fast, especially technology. It's you sleep, you wake up, things have changed. So we need to move with the trends. We need to be more innovative. We need to listen to the customer more so that we are able to deliver the solution that they anticipate and they expect. Yeah,
that's fantastic. So currently, from what we are seeing, Kenya ranks top 10 in e-commerce across Africa.
Yeah.
And how do you sit in that space, since considering how fast it's moving, we could get to below 10 or even above 10 or even top 3. So what's your thought about that?
I mean, I think this research is, South Africa is also included but not talked about much, simply because their payment structures are more mature compared to what we have in Kenya. But I think it's very good that the uptake in Kenya and the fintech rise in Kenya is growing at a very exponential rate, because mostly it has to do with the population embracing the business, embracing the different ways of making payments, and also the providers in this space trying to keep abreast with the different changes and the technological advancement that are within the space. So what drives the inclusion in this space mostly has to do with education. So education not only for the consumers but also for the providers, because when you look at an institution, especially PSPs, payment service providers, we have different arms within the institution. So we have sales, we have marketing, and these departments need to be aware of what product the company has and what it does, so that they are able to also sell it by telling the customer exactly what it does in a simple manner where the customer will understand. So basic knowledge and education on two fields. Number one is finance, at least the basic information of what happens, credit, debit, and also the tech part of it. Yeah.
So how would you explain our solutions or the whole payments, the phenomena, or rather how the structure is, to a person who is in the hospitality industry, in the travel industry, or e-commerce?
I think at the end of the day, it boils down to what these people or customers who are in these verticals, what they want to achieve at the end of the day. It boils down to what their goals are. So I think if I were to explain payment in very short terms, it would be transfer of money, right? And there are various forms. We have customer to business, that's C2B, and we have business to customer, B2C, and business to business. And I'm sure there are many others that I don't think we can be able to mention now, but ideally, it's how the different hospitality players want to shape their processes, because now as a PSP, we need to align with their processes and make it very simple, smooth, and efficient for their customers, so that, especially for e-commerce platforms, we minimize cart abandonment circumstances where we just have smooth checkout processes. Yeah.
Fantastic. So with that being said, how do you prioritize security? Because you're dealing with so much data, you're dealing with the customer, the consumer's funds, the business's funds.
Indeed.
How does that, the security of it all, play into PSPs and IP as a PSP, being able to handle that kind of data, those kind of funds, and just still maintain its integrity and also trust from the consumer?
That's interesting, because before I even answer the question, I'll just say that security begins with the end user, the handlers of this information, right? And there's a common phrase that goes by, "We're as strong as our weakest link." Okay, so we might be well off in terms of securing the data, but it only takes an individual to just drop the ball somewhere, and that's it. However, to answer your question, there are various frameworks that we do align with, especially in the payment industry, especially with the card schemes, PCI DSS. There are also regulatory frameworks within the country that also we align with, and it informs the process on how to handle customer data. So once you have aligned with those frameworks that are in place, then the next step is, how do you then ensure that the integrity of the data is kept, right? So we have to ensure the data is encrypted, both in transit and in rest. So where we store the data, it has to be fully encrypted in case there are any intrusions to our system. In transit, card data, the most sensitive of all, we have to ensure that that data is also encrypted so that it doesn't get into fraudsters' hands.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So with that, what's your takeaway with how the payment service is actually functioning right now? Given that you have the structures in place, we are seeing it moving in a fast pace. What's your takeaway if for a business that has not yet taken up, or is still, what would you say, enclosed or closed to taking up digital payments?
Digitization of payments.
Yeah,
I think it majorly boils down to we as a business, in terms of educating the merchants we approach, this different verticals, be it hospitality industry, where we have, I'll just give an example of maybe hotels, right? So the problem could be that they are running too many systems at the same time. So you will find the uptick for a particular mode of payment might affect other processes. So the idea is to at least try and have one system where you can handle all these things, because you will find a hotel handle like hotel booking, there's flight booking, and there's also probably internet services by extension. Maybe it comes with package, but these systems, you'll find that they are segregated. So the uptake might be slow. And also, I think it's important to mention the advantage as the selling point and what value addition it brings to the customer. Yeah.